Olivia had always dreamed of a peaceful suburban life, where the cacophony of the city was but a distant memory. When she finally found the perfect home nestled in a quiet neighborhood, she felt a wave of contentment wash over her. The charming houses, each distinct yet harmonious, reminded her of an idyllic postcard. She envisioned weekends filled with gardening, friendly barbecues with neighbors, and evenings spent on her porch admiring the sunset. Eager to embrace her new environment, Olivia made a bold choice that showcased her dedication to sustainability. She installed solar panels on her roof. Designed with modern aesthetics in mind, these panels were sleek and discreet, barely perceptible to anyone passing by. To Olivia, they symbolized a commitment to eco-friendly living, aligning perfectly with her values and aspirations for a greener world. The first week passed blissfully as she settled into her new home. Olivia relished the feeling of community that surrounded her. Neighbors waved as they walked their dogs or tended to their lawns, and she felt the warmth of belonging begin to blossom. Yet just when everything seemed perfect, an unexpected twist would test her resolve. On the 8th day of her residency, a certified letter arrived at her doorstep. Curiosity piqued, she tore open the envelope, only to be met with disbelief and frustration. The Homeowners Association, HOA, had slapped her with a $1,200 fine for unauthorized equipment. Not only that, but they demanded the immediate removal of her solar panels. According to the HOA, the panels supposedly hurt resale value, an accusation that struck her as utterly absurd. Olivia initially tried to reason with the association members, explaining both the financial benefits and the environmental advantages of solar energy. After all, she had dedicated her career to advocating for green energy solutions. But their resistance was unwavering. They insisted on enforcing their outdated rules without regard for the implications on their own community. Determined not to let this injustice slide, Olivia weighed her options. The ironic twist of fate unfolded as she shared her predicament with friends in the eco-conscious community she had built over the years. It didn't take long for those connections to rally around her cause. A plan formed in her mind, simple yet powerful. She would turn the tables on this unjust situation. Without hesitation, Olivia published the HOA's violation letter on LinkedIn. The post garnered immediate attention within the green energy community. Comments poured in from supporters who expressed their outrage over the HOA's decision and offered resources for Olivia's next steps. What started as a local issue rapidly transitioned into a vibrant national conversation about homeowners' rights and sustainable living. As her post went viral, pressure mounted on the HOA to respond. Journalists began covering Olivia's story, highlighting her background as a respected figure in renewable energy. Even at the municipal level, representatives took notice. A city councilman publicly tweeted his support for Olivia's right to install solar panels, amplifying her voice and solidifying public opinion in her favor. Equipped with newfound momentum and public support, Olivia seized this opportunity to push for meaningful change. She rallied her friends and colleagues around an initiative aimed at drafting a state bill designed to protect homeowners' rights to install solar technologies without interference from antiquated associations like hers. With each virtual meeting and strategic discussion, momentum grew for a cause that resonated deeply with communities striving towards sustainability. Together, they dared to hope that this could be more than just about one woman fighting against an HOA. It could become a movement that reshaped how communities embraced green living. As Olivia basked in the warmth of her new life, the last thing she expected was to be met with hostility from her homeowners association. With a sense of excitement pulsating in her chest, she unwrapped the crisp envelope that had been dropped at her door. But as she read the contents, that thrill quickly morphed into dismay. The letter stated that she was being fined $1,200 for having unauthorized equipment on her property, her beloved solar panels. Olivia stared at the letter as if it were an alien artifact, her mind racing to comprehend the absurdity of it all. The panels were sleek and unobtrusive, designed purposefully to blend into the roof's architecture. They were a quiet testament to her commitment to sustainability, meant to symbolize progress and community responsibility rather than provoke ire. But according to the HOA, those very symbols of hope were now a source of conflict. Diminished property values, they claimed, though there was no empirical evidence backing their assertion. Olivia felt a knot tightening in her stomach. It was unbelievable that in this day and age there would still be resistance against green technologies, especially in a community poised for growth and modernization. Her mind flooded with questions. How could anyone behold solar panels as a negative? Remembering her background in renewable energy advocacy made the situation even more infuriating. As the founder and CEO of one of the largest solar companies in the region, Olivia had dedicated her career to promoting sustainable practices. This situation felt like a personal affront, challenging not just her values, but also the very future she envisioned for communities like hers, ones that embraced innovation over antiquated conventions. With determination filling her veins, she decided that ignoring this injustice wasn't an option. She methodically crafted a response to the HOA, outlining everything from environmental benefits to potential increases in property value courtesy of solar installations. Olivia knew all too well that solar energy could save homeowners money on utility bills while contributing positively to the environment, a win-win scenario. As she hit send on her reply email, though, she sensed it wouldn't be enough. The rigidity of the HOA felt insurmountable. They seemed less interested in dialogue and more focused on upholding their outdated bylaws. It was time for a different approach, an approach that would not only challenge their decrees but shine a spotlight on their outdated mindset. Drawing from her extensive professional network built over years in eco-advocacy circles, Olivia shared her story online. She crafted a post detailing what had occurred, the fine, the demand for removal, and published it on LinkedIn along with an image of the violation letter. Without delay, responses began flooding in, from fellow entrepreneurs passionate about green energy to environmental activists eager to support her cause. Much like wildfire spreading through dry grasslands, word began to circulate beyond Olivia's immediate network. Comments erupted from every corner of the green energy community expressing outrage at both the violation and its implications for sustainable living everywhere. This wasn't just a local issue. It was becoming emblematic of how poorly many still perceived renewable energy sources. As reactions multiplied online, pressure mounted on the HOA to reconsider its position. Reporters began showing interest in Olivia's story. Why should anyone be punished for contributing to a greener future? A single tweet from a local city councilman expressing his support further galvanized public sentiment and amplified Olivia's voice. Realizing this could be more than just an isolated battle against an HOA, it could lead to long-lasting change, Olivia's resolve deepened. She began strategizing ways to leverage this unusual moment of visibility into actionable policies that would protect homeowners' rights regarding solar installations across the state. A legislative push seemed imminent, vulnerability now transformed into potential power as she rallied community support behind eco-friendly initiatives. As Olivia navigated the complexities of her new neighborhood, the initial thrill of homeownership began to feel overshadowed by a sense of injustice. Each day, she faced the mounting pressures from her homeowners association, but beneath the surface, there was an urgent truth waiting to be revealed, one that would transform the narrative surrounding her predicament. Many of her neighbors admired Olivia for her seemingly ordinary choice to embrace sustainable living, unaware of the extraordinary path that had led her to this point. While she appreciated their kind words and neighborly gestures, Olivia felt an internal conflict brewing. In their eyes, she was just another resident eager to contribute positively to the community. What they didn't realize was that Olivia was more than just an eco-conscious homeowner. She was a trailblazer in the renewable energy sector. With a deep breath, Olivia recalled her recent accomplishments. Her TED Talk on eco-integrated community development had resonated with many in the industry. She had passionately advocated for merging sustainability with livable neighborhoods, arguing that communities could thrive while embracing innovative solutions like solar energy. Her words had inspired others to push for change. Now it was time for those very words to guide her through this crisis. Despite the harsh realities of her situation with the HOA, Olivia found clarity in knowing she held expertise that few others in her neighborhood possessed. As founder and CEO of one of the largest solar companies in the region, she had spent years championing green technologies. Not only was she equipped with knowledge about the benefits of solar energy, but she also carried an unshakable commitment to educating communities about their options. Armed with this realization, Olivia made it clear in her LinkedIn post that she wasn't simply a victim caught in a bureaucratic struggle. She was a leader prepared to turn adversity into action. What followed would not only challenge homeowners' norms, but also ignite a revolution within her community and beyond. She deftly interwove personal anecdotes into her online presence, illustrating how investing in renewable technologies like solar panels not only benefits individual homeowners, but enriches entire neighborhoods. Stories from clients who had seen reductions in their energy bills and a boost in home values sprang to mind, a testament to what good practices could accomplish when embraced collectively. The momentum generated by Olivia's post surged beyond mere support. It became a rallying cry for activists seeking systemic change. The green energy community began amplifying her message across multiple platforms, echoing her figurehead role as an advocate rather than merely a homeowner facing fines. It wasn't long before mainstream media outlets took notice. Reporters started reaching out for comments and interviews, eager to hear from someone whose story combined personal struggle with industry insight. A local city councilman took it a step further by tweeting his endorsement of Olivia's efforts and expressing solidarity against outdated HOA regulations that stifled innovation. This unexpected support served as validation for both Olivia and the movement she was building. With each media mention amplifying her narrative, Olivia recognized this as an opportunity not just for herself, but for countless others who wished to embrace sustainable living without facing obstacles at home. The gravity of her identity as an industry leader allowed her voice to resonate deeply. It became imperative for her now to advocate not only for herself, but for all residents desiring access to solar technology without fear of retribution. In pursuing legislative change with newfound vigor, Olivia aimed not just to overturn the fine imposed by the HOA, but also sought to shift societal perceptions around renewable energy at large. This fight reminded her that each voice mattered, and that true transformation often emerged from unexpected struggles. With blazing determination igniting within her, Olivia set forth on yet another journey, this time with a chance not only to reshape her own community, but also pave pathways toward broader acceptance of sustainable living practices across the region. Feeling the weight of her situation almost crushing her spirit, Olivia knew that remaining silent was not an option. The fine from the Homeowners Association had not only threatened her financial standing, but also represented a broader issue that resonated within the community, one that required exposure and engagement. Resolute in her mission to challenge the outdated mindset governing her neighborhood, Olivia decided to harness the power of social media, particularly LinkedIn, a platform tailored for professional discourse. With a heavy mixture of indignation and determination, she composed a detailed post outlining the HOA's violation letter, sharing not only the contents, but also her personal reflections on the injustice. Olivia described her commitment to sustainability and how she felt betrayed by an organization that should support community development rather than stifle it. Accompanying her narrative was an image of the letter itself, its stark official tone contrasting sharply with Olivia's vision of a progressive community. Once she hit post, Olivia couldn't shake off a mix of anticipation and anxiety about how her words would be received. What happened next exceeded her expectations in ways she hadn't thought possible. Almost immediately, her post drew attention from fellow environmentalists and advocates who felt equally outraged by the HOA's stance against solar technology. Comments began pouring in, many echoing Olivia's sentiments, while others shared similar experiences of fighting against bureaucratic red tape. The reaction was electric. Within hours, Olivia saw engagement numbers soar as people shared her story across networks. Experts in renewable energy chimed in, providing insights on how solar panels increased property values and positively impacted local economies. What started as a personal grievance transformed into a collective outcry against what many perceived as an archaic opposition to progress. As conversations spiraled into discussions about homeowners' rights and sustainable living practices, Olivia felt emboldened. She watched with gratitude as her virtual community banded together, each voice adding fuel to the fire of advocacy for renewable technologies. It became clear that this wasn't just about her. It was about changing perceptions on a grand scale. The importance of challenging institutions like the HOA was suddenly amplified by a chorus of supporters calling for fairness and innovation. Mainstream media soon caught wind of this emerging narrative. Reporters reached out for interviews, eager to explore not just Olivia's specific situation, but also the broader implications for communities resisting renewable energy solutions. A local news station expressed interest in highlighting the clash between progressive homeowners and traditionalist associations. Olivia's story now served as a case study representing a larger movement igniting across various neighborhoods. Even politicians took notice. A city councilman tweeted his support for Olivia's cause, emphasizing that resisting solar installations went against the very principles of community enhancement and environmental stewardship. His endorsement brought legitimacy to Olivia's struggle, shifting it from an isolated incident to a public discourse around sustainability rights. As pressure mounted on the HOA due to increasing public scrutiny and vocal discontent, Olivia recognized that leveraging this moment could result not just in reversing her fine, but also in enacting substantial change that would benefit many homeowners after her. Energized by collective momentum, she started considering how to transform this viral moment into actionable advocacy, pushing for legislation that would protect individual rights regarding solar energy installation. Collaborating with other advocates who had joined her cause online, Olivia set out to draft proposals tailored towards empowering homeowners' rights statewide. She envisioned reforms that would mandate associations like hers to adapt their policies regarding renewable technologies or risk facing legal consequences for outdated regulations that prohibited progress. The response from her LinkedIn post was just the beginning, a spark igniting discussions around equitable access to sustainable energy solutions in residential areas throughout the state. With every passing day, Olivia felt more resolute that this was an opportunity not only for herself, but for countless others yearning for change within their communities. The journey ahead loomed large, but she was ready to transform good intentions into policy strides that would ensure future homeowners could embrace renewable energy without fear or retribution from outdated governing bodies. As Olivia's LinkedIn post gained traction, she felt a wave of both excitement and anxiety. The response from the green energy community was overwhelmingly positive, but it was just the beginning. Soon after her story went live, media outlets began picking it up, amplifying her plight far beyond her initial expectations. Reporters from local newspapers reached out for interviews, eager to chronicle the clash between a progressive homeowner advocating for renewable energy and a traditional homeowners association clinging to outdated regulations. They were intrigued not only by Olivia's personal struggle, but also by the broader implications of her fight. After all, her situation was emblematic of a larger issue facing many communities: how to balance individual rights with collective governance in an era increasingly focused on sustainability. As news articles started circulating, Olivia's name became synonymous with the movement for homeowners' rights to install solar technology without fear of retribution. Headlines highlighting her battle against the HOA led to discussions in social media forums and online communities dedicated to environmental advocacy. The urgency of her cause resonated with many who had similar experiences, giving Olivia's narrative additional weight. Then came a pivotal moment that would significantly raise the stakes. A local city councilman, known for his advocacy of sustainable practices, tweeted his support for Olivia's cause. His tweet wasn't just an endorsement. It called out the HOA directly and questioned why they were standing in the way of modern solutions meant to benefit both individuals and the environment. The councilman urged others to join him in supporting a dialogue about homeowners' rights regarding solar panel installations. This public backing provided much-needed validation and shifted the narrative even further. With pressure mounting on the HOA, Olivia seized the moment. Encouraged by the momentum from the media coverage and political support, she organized a community meeting inviting residents, environmental advocates, and local leaders to discuss strategies for change. The meeting was packed. Fellow homeowners expressed their frustrations with restrictive HOA policies while sharing stories of their struggles with implementing sustainable practices. During this gathering, Olivia stood before her neighbors, passionate and composed. She articulated not only her own story, but painted a picture of how embracing renewable energy could transform their community as a whole. Energy efficiency would not only lower utility costs, but could enhance property values in the long run, a fact often overlooked by those resistant to change. Feeling bolstered by this growing coalition of support and passionate voices aligned with her cause, Olivia began formulating a plan to push for formal legislative reforms that would protect homeowners' rights regarding solar installations statewide. Leveraging her connections within the renewable energy sector and tapping into the enthusiasm sparked by the media attention, she sought out legal experts and environmental policy advocates willing to collaborate on drafting proposed legislation. The objective was clear. They would advocate for laws that mandated homeowners associations to adapt their regulations concerning solar energy or face repercussions for blocking such advancements. Olivia envisioned a future where everyone could freely install solar panels without fear of fines or punitive actions from governing bodies. With each passing day, Olivia's resolve only grew stronger as she realized the potential impact of her efforts. She began coordinating meetings with lawmakers who were interested in hearing more about her vision for sustainable living practices that embraced new technologies rather than hindered them. As conversations expanded beyond mere activism into actionable policy initiatives, Olivia couldn't shake off the feeling that they were at a critical juncture in history. The world was evolving toward sustainability. Now was the time for laws and community standards to catch up. She was ready to lead this charge, not just for herself, but for every homeowner seeking to create a greener future free from oppressive regulations. The combination of media pressure, community support, and newfound political backing coalesced into an unstoppable force ready to challenge established norms and foster change. With determination fanning the flames inside her, Olivia prepared for what lay ahead, a journey not just toward personal vindication, but also toward systemic transformation that would bring lasting benefits to her neighborhood and beyond. With the momentum from her grassroots campaign building, Olivia recognized that the time had come to formalize her efforts into actionable legislative change. She was no longer merely advocating for her own rights, but championing a cause that resonated with many homeowners across the state who felt similarly constrained by outdated regulations. The public interest in her situation had grown exponentially, and Olivia understood that she could leverage this enthusiasm to create real impact. Sitting at her dining room table, surrounded by notes and local articles discussing her story, Olivia began drafting a proposal for a state bill aimed at protecting homeowners' rights to install solar panels without interference from homeowners' associations, an essential move in fostering sustainable living practices statewide. She envisioned legislation that would not only safeguard individual homeowners, but also promote renewable energy as a viable option for all communities. Olivia reached out to her network of environmental activists, legal experts, and fellow advocates in the renewable energy sector for input on how best to structure the proposed bill. These conversations were invigorating. Discussions ranged from the specific language needed to ensure clarity about homeowners' rights to potential penalties for associations blocking solar installations. Her vision was clear. They needed to create a framework that empowered individuals while holding governing bodies accountable. As she gathered support, Olivia also organized a rally at the local park, inviting residents and environmental organizations to come together and voice their support for the proposed legislation. The event was designed not just as a demonstration, but as an opportunity for education. Speakers shared stories about the benefits of solar energy, both economically and environmentally, emphasizing how embracing such technologies could transform their community's future. On the day of the rally, Olivia stood before a crowd of energized supporters, families, young professionals, retirees, all unified by a common goal. With passion radiating from her every word, she articulated how allowing homeowners unrestricted access to solar technology could lead to cleaner air, lower energy costs, and increased property values over time. Each statistic she presented reinforced her argument. Transitioning toward renewable energy wasn't just beneficial, it was essential for progress. The rally garnered significant media attention, capturing images of excited participants waving banners proclaiming, "Solar Rights Matter." News crews documented the event, interviewing attendees about their hopes for legislative change. This visibility amplified Olivia's message even further, attracting additional supporters, including influential environmental groups eager to back her initiative. Encouraged by the turnout and media coverage, Olivia reached out again to the city councilman who had initially supported her cause on social media. With his help, they arranged meetings with key legislators who could champion the bill on the floor. These discussions were pivotal. Olivia presented not just as a concerned homeowner, but as an industry leader with deep knowledge of renewable energy's benefits. As days turned into weeks, momentum built around her proposed legislation. Advocacy groups rallied behind Olivia's efforts, creating petitions that circulated widely and gathering signatures from citizens eager for change. Social media campaigns flourished as people shared their own stories about battling HOA restrictions while trying to transition toward greener lives. Finally came the day when Olivia's bill would be presented in front of state lawmakers. Standing in front of officials and constituents alike during a public hearing filled with anticipation mixed with nerves, she delivered an impassioned speech outlining why this legislation mattered, not just for individuals but for future generations. She highlighted its potential to influence policy across other states grappling with similar issues around renewable energy access. As debate ensued amongst lawmakers, some in favor and others skeptical, Olivia felt an unyielding sense of hope wash over her. The voices of supporters echoed in her mind as they collectively demanded progress against stagnant traditions stifling innovation. With each passing moment during those hearings, it became clear that this was more than mere bureaucracy. It represented a significant cultural shift towards sustainability that many were ready to embrace. Armed with data-driven arguments and powerful testimonials from constituents who believed wholeheartedly in their right to adopt green technology without fear or restriction, Olivia stood firm in her conviction. Change was not only possible, it was imminent. In navigating those challenging waters of advocacy amidst political discourse surrounding homeownership rights and responsible environmental practices, Olivia forged ahead armed with both courage and determination, a beacon representing hope for countless homeowners seeking freedom from outdated regulations governing their choices toward sustainability. As the days passed since Olivia's rally, the excitement surrounding her proposed state bill began to build palpable momentum. The community buzzed with anticipation as more residents learned about the legislation aimed at empowering homeowners to install solar panels without fear of HOA penalties. Amidst this growing popularity, Olivia remained focused on ensuring that the bill received the attention it deserved from lawmakers. With her coalition of environmental advocates and supportive citizens swelling, Olivia organized a series of meetings with key legislators who had expressed interest in her cause. Armed with success stories from local homeowners who had faced similar battles and a plethora of data demonstrating the benefits of renewable energy, she presented a compelling case. Each encounter was marked by enthusiastic discussions about reforming outdated regulations that stifled innovation and sustainability. In the lead-up to the bill presentation, Olivia ensured that the voices of community members resonated deeply within legislative hallways. She coordinated a letter-writing campaign, inviting residents to send their personal stories to lawmakers expressing how solar installations had affected their lives or aspirations. The sheer volume of heartfelt testimonies flooded into the offices of decision-makers, reinforcing Olivia's plea for change. Finally, the day arrived when Olivia's proposed bill would be debated in a hearing before the legislature. Among stony faces and hushed whispers, she took a seat alongside other advocates and officials who supported the movement. This was her moment, a culmination of tireless effort directed toward reshaping policy that affected not just her neighborhood but the entire state. As committee members raised questions, Olivia fielded inquiries with poise. She articulated the broader vision behind the legislation, ensuring that every homeowner could embrace green technology without facing punitive actions from restrictive governing bodies like HOAs. Her argument was rooted in logic backed by research. Lower carbon footprints, enhanced property values, and increased overall community satisfaction were compelling incentives for embracing solar energy solutions. The debate was lively. Some lawmakers stood firmly in support, eager to align with an initiative that resonated with constituents who valued property rights and sustainable practices. Others expressed skepticism, worried about possible fiscal impacts of such changes on housing markets or HOA regulations. The tension in the room demonstrated that every voice mattered in this crucial discussion. Then came a pivotal moment when a prominent legislator shared his personal experience. He explained how his own attempts to install solar panels faced reluctance from his HOA, despite being a strong advocate for sustainability. The room fell silent as he recounted how many others likely felt similarly powerless against obstructive governance. This emotional testimony sent ripples through those present, reminding everyone that at the heart of policy debates were real people facing real challenges. Olivia seized this chance to call for action and unity among lawmakers. This is our opportunity to champion homeowners' rights, rights that reflect our society's commitment to moving forward responsibly and sustainably. As deliberations intensified, supporters rallied nearby with signs calling for change, echoing Olivia's rallying cry. The determination among advocates filled the air with hope as members of various environmental organizations demonstrated solidarity with themes like empower homeowners and solar for all. When the vote finally came to fruition, Olivia felt her stomach twist with anticipation. This was the moment she had fought tirelessly for. Legislators cast their votes one by one, and as the count drew close, a cheer began to rise among those gathered outside waiting for news. The bill had passed. Elated yet exhausted, Olivia stepped out into the sunlight amidst jubilant supporters celebrating what felt like a historic win for homeowners everywhere. They had advocated successfully against oppressive regulations rooted in outdated mindsets, and together they had paved the way for true progress. Media outlets quickly picked up on the story. Headlines proclaimed landmark legislation passes, homeowners win rights to solar installations. Olivia was hailed as a leader not only for herself, but for every individual who yearned for sustainable practices devoid of bureaucratic restrictions. In the days that followed, the Homeowners Association issued a public apology recognizing the significance of embracing renewable energy solutions rather than hindering them. Challenges still lay ahead in implementing these changes statewide, but Olivia's passion resonated strongly, igniting conversations about what future communities could look like, grounded in green practices and empowered citizens. Reflecting on what had transpired, the campaign momentum transformed into tangible change. Olivia understood she had not only altered regulations surrounding solar installations, but nurtured a deeper cultural shift towards eco-friendly living woven into her community's fabric. Unyielding hope blossomed anew as she prepared for continuous advocacy work, ready to help inspire others beyond her own neighborhood toward achieving sustainability goals amid evolving landscapes. In the wake of the successful passage of Olivia's state bill, the atmosphere in her community shifted dramatically. The air was thick with a sense of accomplishment and optimism as residents celebrated their newfound rights to install solar panels without the looming threat of HOA penalties. However, amidst this wave of enthusiasm, there remained an undeniable tension between Olivia's supporters and the Homeowners Association, which had been left reeling from the legislative defeat. As news of the bill's passage spread, conversations at HOA meetings grew increasingly strained. Members who had once staunchly defended their regulations found themselves in a precarious position, facing mounting pressure from residents who were now emboldened by their newfound agency. Requests for transparency and reform poured in, with many homeowners demanding that the HOA evolve to align itself with the values of sustainability and community progress. Recognizing the shifting landscape, the HOA realized it could no longer cling to its outdated policies without inciting further unrest among its members. In a surprising turn of events, they convened an emergency meeting where discussions centered around how best to respond to the community's demands and the overwhelming support for solar energy initiatives. The breakthrough came when a member proposed issuing a public apology as a way to acknowledge their past mistakes and demonstrate a commitment to change. Initially met with skepticism, this suggestion began to gain traction among those who recognized that embracing renewable energy could ultimately benefit everyone involved, both in terms of community spirit and property values. After much debate and consideration, the HOA formally agreed to issue an apology that would be shared both in print and online, a significant step toward reconciliation with residents. The announcement was crafted carefully, acknowledging their previous stance against solar installations and expressing regret for any distress caused by their actions. It also highlighted a commitment to work collaboratively with residents moving forward, encouraging dialogue about sustainability practices within the community. When Olivia heard about the planned apology, she felt a mixture of surprise and vindication. This was not merely about personal victory. It represented a larger cultural shift within her neighborhood, a transition from rigid resistance to embracing innovative solutions for sustainable living. As she prepared to attend the HOA meeting where the apology would be publicly delivered, Olivia felt a sense of hope swell in her heart. At the meeting, as residents gathered, an air of anticipation filled the room. When HOA representatives finally stood before their neighbors to read the apology aloud, many listened intently. With each word spoken, Olivia felt history being made, not just for herself, but for every homeowner who had ever battled against restrictive regulations. The apology acknowledged that renewable energy solutions were essential for modern living and promised to reevaluate current policies around solar panel installations. As some residents cheered while others exchanged glances filled with relief, Olivia sensed that this moment marked a turning point, not only for her community but potentially for similar neighborhoods grappling with similar issues across the state. Following this public acknowledgement, conversations turned toward future initiatives. The HOA expressed interest in collaborating with local environmental organizations on educational workshops about renewable energy options and strategies for sustainable home improvements, reaching out to experts willing to share knowledge that could benefit all homeowners. In light of these events, Olivia decided that now was the right time to leverage her position as CEO of her solar company. She proposed launching a neighborhood solar subsidy program designed to alleviate some financial burdens associated with installation costs for homeowners looking to transition toward renewable energy sources. Community members embraced this idea wholeheartedly. As plans for these initiatives solidified, Olivia recognized that their collective effort had not only transformed policy, but also cultivated a culture rooted in sustainability and cooperation. Her journey had sparked not just personal advocacy, but genuine community engagement, an environment where innovation thrived alongside traditional values. Reflecting on how far they had come since her original struggle against the HOA, Olivia felt immense gratitude for all those who stood by her side throughout this journey. Together, they had challenged outdated norms and paved pathways toward sustainable living practices through collaboration and determination. As she moved forward into this new chapter alongside her neighbors, filled with hope and purpose, Olivia saw possibilities on the horizon, an ever-evolving community eager to embrace green technologies while nurturing relationships built on mutual respect and shared goals. There remain challenges ahead, but with every step taken together towards sustainability, Olivia knew they were forging a brighter future, one where every homeowner could thrive without fear or restriction while championing progress for generations to come. With the Homeowners Association's public apology and the successful passage of the state bill behind her, Olivia felt a renewed sense of purpose. She understood that the time had come to turn her vision of sustainable living into reality, not just for herself, but for all the residents in her neighborhood. Inspired by the momentum of community advocacy, she set her sights on launching an innovative solar subsidy program designed to ease the financial burden on homeowners looking to transition to solar energy. Olivia gathered her team at her solar company to brainstorm ideas for the subsidy program. They aimed to create a comprehensive plan that would make solar installations more accessible and affordable for all residents. The goal was clear: to ensure that every household could benefit from renewable energy without facing prohibitive costs. As discussions flowed, Olivia emphasized the importance of inclusivity, a program that would cater to diverse income levels and encourage widespread participation. The proposed subsidy program would cover a significant portion of installation costs, particularly for low- and middle-income families who might otherwise be unable to afford solar panels. Additionally, it would provide educational resources to help homeowners understand the long-term benefits of solar energy, including reduced utility bills and increased property values. Olivia envisioned workshops where experts could guide residents through the installation process, financing options, and maintenance of solar systems, fostering a sense of community involvement and empowerment. Once the framework for the program was established, Olivia organized a town hall meeting to present her initiative to the community. The venue buzzed with excitement as residents filled the seats, eager to learn about how they could become part of this transformative journey toward sustainability. Olivia stood before them, her heart racing with anticipation, but also filled with confidence bolstered by their collective support. "Together we have fought for our rights as homeowners," she began, her voice resonating with passion. "Now, we have the opportunity to lead by example and transform our neighborhood into a model of sustainability. This solar subsidy program is designed not just to benefit individual households, but to strengthen our entire community." As she outlined the details of the program, attendance surged. Enthusiastic questions poured in from residents curious about how they could participate. Olivia spoke candidly about the program's potential impact on the environment, local economy, and community spirit. She highlighted real-life examples of neighboring communities that had successfully implemented similar initiatives, showcasing tangible benefits that came from embracing renewable energy. The response was overwhelmingly positive. Residents expressed excitement about taking part in a shared vision for a greener future. Many signed up on the spot for informational sessions and expressed interest in becoming advocates themselves, spreading the word about the program within their networks. In the weeks that followed, Olivia and her team worked diligently to finalize details and launch the subsidy program. They partnered with local contractors specializing in solar installations who were eager to participate and offer competitive rates. As applications poured in from interested homeowners, Olivia felt a sense of fulfillment. This was more than just a business initiative. It was a movement fueled by community engagement and collective action. As installations began rolling out across the neighborhood, Olivia witnessed firsthand the transformation taking place. Homes that once stood under the shadow of restrictive regulations now proudly displayed sleek solar panels on their roofs. The visual shift was striking, a clear sign that her community was fully embracing renewable energy solutions. Residents shared their experiences on social media, celebrating their new solar systems while encouraging others to join the movement. Local news outlets featured stories on how Olivia's solar subsidy program had made a significant impact in not only reducing electricity costs, but also in fostering a sense of unity among neighbors striving for a common goal. Over time, Olivia's neighborhood became known as one of the first fully solar-powered communities in the region, a shining example of what could be achieved through advocacy and collaboration. The success of the program inspired other neighborhoods to explore similar initiatives, sparking a ripple effect throughout the state as homeowners everywhere sought to embrace sustainable living practices. Reflecting on this remarkable journey, from facing fines from her HOA to transforming her neighborhood into a leader in renewable energy, Olivia felt immense pride and gratitude for everyone who had stood alongside her. Together, they had turned challenges into opportunities, demonstrating that when communities unite for a common purpose, they can reshape their futures and create lasting change. As she looked around at her vibrant neighborhood filled with homes powered by sunlight, Olivia knew they were not just champions of sustainability. They were pioneers paving the way for future generations committed to preserving their planet for years to come. With each step forward, she remained determined to continue advocating for green technologies, ensuring that progress in environmental stewardship endured well beyond her own neighborhood.